Hey there, I'm Celine and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, we are going to be talking about Valentine's Day, which it's always a little bit difficult for me. Usually in February I am sad, and I just really wanted to make it a point this year to change that. I am just tired of feeling sad about singleness. I have been kind of like going through a season. My last video, I gave kind of an update where I was kind of like down about it, and I'm just tired of feeling that way. And you know, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and like I said, I want things to be different. So I thought that I would kind of start mentally preparing and just being very intentional about my thought life. So these are just going to be like a few things that I'm going to be doing differently this year for Valentine's Day in the month of February. So I hope that this can help you as well, my fellow singles. So, and if you are not single, send this to somebody who is single, somebody that you know that is single, and keep watching even if you are not single, because there might be some good pieces of advice for you as well. So starting with a piece of advice that my mom gave me. She always tells me, well, Valentine's Day is not just about couples. It's about, you know, just love in general, and it's not just romantic love. So I'll admit sometimes that's not very comforting for me, but I am going to try to remember that and have it be an encouragement to me, because it is. So starting with remembering the love that God has for me. And that's not to put it in a way that, oh, Jesus is my Valentine. I get the ick whenever people say Jesus is like my boyfriend and I am in a relationship with... No, you are not. No, you're not. He is not your significant other. I think we just need to move forward not saying that anymore, because I feel that if we say that, it's undermining God, and we definitely should not be doing that. He's not the same value as a husband or a boyfriend. He is God. So yeah, just remembering the love that God has for us, just genuinely. I mean, we can look in his word. I have a few verses here. Obviously, we have John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only son. That verse is just one of the most beautiful displays of love. You know, Christ giving up his son, Jesus, for all of us sinners who did not and do not deserve it. And along those same lines, we can look at Romans 5:8 that says, but God proves his own love for us in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So again, that's the greatest show of love that we have in all of our lives. And that type of sacrificial and unconditional love also reminds me of the story of Gomer and Hosea, how God calls on Hosea to marry her. Gomer is a very promiscuous woman, and she is a prostitute of sorts, and we might read that story and say, well, why, God? Why do you want this blameless man like Hosea to marry someone like her? And we see time and time again after they marry that she keeps reverting back to her old ways, and she betrays her husband, she betrays God, and yet time and time again God calls on Hosea to go back to her, forgive her, bring her back, and show her the right way. So I think that is a lot like the love that Christ has for us. A lot of the times we can just revert back to our old sinful ways, and we can lie, we can do all these things, and yet time and time again God will call us back to him. And that's not to say that it's also like a sin now, repent later type of thing. We obviously should be staying away from that, but in the event that we do stray, we can always go back to Christ. Next verse is also a very popular one, 1 John chapter 4, verse 12. We love because he first loved us. So I'm going to touch more on that kind of thing, like we love others because Christ first loved us. Once we have accepted Christ and we recognize his love for us in our lives, we can then pour that out onto other people. So again, I will touch on that a little bit more in my next point, but that is also a great one to remember, that just as we receive love, we need to be pouring out love to others as well. And the last verse that I kind of want to point out is another very popular one. So if you know it, say it with me. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. It says, love is patient, love is kind, love does not envy, is not boastful, is not arrogant, is not rude, is not self-seeking, is not irritable, and does not keep a record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. So I feel like that set of verses gives us a good outline and reference point on how we should be loving others, and kind of like a reference point that we can look at when we are looking at a potential spouse. Are they patient? Are they kind? Are they envious? That kind of thing. So that kind of leads me on to my next point, in that in the month of February, I really want to be intentional on showing the people around me that I love and appreciate them. I have kind of noticed about myself lately that I have a harder time expressing that I love and appreciate the people around me. Like I can say it in a card, I can write it out in a text, but words are difficult for me. I feel like I'm not a very super chatty person. It takes me a little bit to express like my true feelings. I tend to like hold a lot of things inside, including just a simple saying, hey mom, hey dad, I love you and I appreciate you. Saying that directly to them, I have a difficult time with. I'm not sure why. So I really want to just kind of take note of those things and work on that and be better about that as well, because in the future, if I am to be a wife, you know, it definitely is helpful for a marriage for your husband to see that you love and appreciate him, and that's very important as well. So I definitely don't want to make anyone think that I that I'm taking them for granted or anything. So that is something that I am personally going to be working on. You know, and if you have other single friends, in terms of friends, you know, love on them a little bit extra in the month of February as well. Just kind of build one another up. If your friend is having a more difficult day, you can just be an encouragement to them. If you are having a little bit more of a down day, they can encourage you. So really just kind of band together with your other single friends. That might be really helpful. And the last couple of things about loving on others is to reach out to married couples that have kids in your life, especially those with younger kids. For me personally, I have my parents and my younger siblings, so I'm definitely going to be helping them out so that they can have a time to go out. It's definitely difficult for married couples with younger children to get out on their own. So if you know of a young family that the couple could use a time away, then definitely reach out to them and say, is there any way that I can help you? Maybe I can watch your little ones for a couple of hours on Valentine's Day while you guys go out. So that might be a good way to be a blessing to those around you in your singleness. That actually reminds me of a post that I saw the other day I don't think I shared it on my Instagram. I shared it on my personal one, but it was about how our singleness can be a gift to others and not necessarily for ourselves. If we kind of take the focus on, how is singleness being a gift to me, how is singleness affecting me? Just kind of taking the focus off of ourselves, and saying, how can my singleness be a gift to someone else? So we have more time on our hands than a person in a relationship would have. So we, as singles, we can be a blessing to married couples around us. We can help out with little ones, and we can also hopefully be a example and an encouragement for the younger girls or younger guys under us. They're looking up to us at the end of the day, so we can hopefully be a blessing to them and set a good example for them. And lastly, something that I am going to be doing, and something that I always do, that I've been doing for like the last year, but I'm really going to be intentional about it in the month of February. For Valentine's Day this year, I am going to be kind of like hosting a prayer challenge. But for me specifically, I'm going to be praying very specifically for my future husband, if I am to have a husband. That's the thing, is I don't want anyone to come around to this prayer challenge and think and have a heart of expectancy. The reality is most of us will get married, but there will be some who will be called to celibacy. So I don't want anyone to go into this, or myself going into this, saying, okay, I'm going to pray for my future husband and God will send him to me. No, we don't know if God has a husband, or if your guy a wife. We don't know if he has that for us. But if we do, if that is in our future, we can be praying for them. So yeah, for Valentine's Day this year, I am praying for my future husband. So check in the shorts every day. I will be posting a small prayer onto my shorts and also on my Instagram. So if you don't already follow me there, go and check that out so that you don't miss the daily prayer thing. So yeah, that's kind of that section, and I think we can feel so much lack of love in our lives in, the surrounding days of Valentine's Day, but we really have a lot of people that we can be loving on, and a lot of love that we already receive in our lives. And the last couple of things that I want to recommend to you, they're a little bit like miscellaneous, but still helpful. First, I will be staying off of social media for Valentine's Day, maybe for the month of February, other than like posting the prayer challenges on my Instagram. I might see if I can schedule those posts though. I'm gonna look into that today. But yeah, it's just more so to guard my heart. I am not, whenever I see pictures of my friends with their significant others or with their spouse, it's not like I'm looking at them with, any sort of bad way, but it does bring envy into my life. And obviously, as we saw in 1 Corinthians, love is not envious, and we should not be envying or covet anything that our brothers and sisters have. And so it's not that I'm not happy for them, and I love to see that the Lord has blessed them in that way. It's just a way to guard my heart and to not, at the end of the day, that invites those sort of thoughts into my mind. As much as I want to deny it, I know myself, and if I'm just like, oh, it's fine, I'll be fine. No, I will not be fine. I will end up on Valentine's Day evening crying. So I'm trying to avoid that. Yeah, so that's just something that I'm doing just to kind of look out for my thought life and all of that. So that might be helpful for you as well. Just do like a social media, just fast, just stay off, and, you know, take some time to refocus and strengthen your relationship with God. And then on Valentine's Day, I am going to be sure to make an effort. Maybe this one is bad. Maybe this is more like personal problem that I am just trying to, like, I don't know, but I'm going to make it a point on Valentine's Day to get up and put on a nice dress, a dress that I love, and put on a little bit of makeup and do my hair if I feel like it. I feel like lately I just have not been feeling like doing my hair, and it's been laying nicely a little bit better at least. Yeah, just making it a point to not sit at home in my pajamas and skulk the entire day. And lastly, do something that you really enjoy. I know for me, I plan to do some baking on Valentine's Day with my little siblings, so we can have those in the house and that they can enjoy that as a little treat for me and for my parents as well. And, you know, if you bake as well, bring that to your single friends. Just drop those off to them, be like, it's a little Valentine's Day treat from me. Build one another up again. So yeah, if that's baking, cooking, going to a bookstore, I love going to bookstores, going to Hobby Lobby, walking around the grocery store, whatever it is for you, do that. Take a walk outside if that's something that you really enjoy and if the weather's nice. I know in the area I live in, it's already pretty much spring, so I can go outside and take a walk already. Just do something that you enjoy, and if you can do it with others, with your other single friends, and do that as well. I would also like to recommend you a few books to read this month, along with your Bible, of course. But I've only read 2 of these, I'll admit. But I have heard great things on these other 2 books. Well, 3 books. One of them is relatively new. Anyway, starting with the 2 that I have read. These are really good. First, Love Defined by Kristen Clark and Bethany Baird. They run Girl Defined Ministries and Single Girl Ministries, is that the name? This one is really good. It just gives a good kind of outline on romantic relationships, and if you should just kind of some good journaling and reflecting questions on this one as well, like regarding singleness, and if there's like a guy that you're interested in, should you continue that pursuit or anything. Well, you're not the one pursuing. Anyway, that type of thing. This one is really good for that. This one I am currently reading. This is Passion and Purity by Elizabeth Elliot, one of my favorites. I will not stop talking about her. This one I'm only halfway through, but this one is so good. And another one by Elizabeth Elliot. I have not yet read this one, but I trust that it's great. This is Quest for Love, Stories of Passion and Purity. So I believe her story with Jim Elliot is in this book. But yeah, I just highly recommend her books. And lastly, Preparing to Be a Helpmeet by Debbie Pearl. I have not yet read this one. I think this might be my next one, but this is a good one. I've heard just to journal and reflect and pray about how you can be preparing now as a single girl to be a better wife in the future. And the last one was something like requesting, seeking marriage from a surrendered heart. I forget her name, but she runs Dear Single Woman on Instagram. I highly recommend her account. She writes so well, and she's just such an encouragement. So definitely check that out. I'll put a picture here of the book. But yeah, that one I am hoping to get my hands on soon. But yeah, those are a couple of book recommendations, just great ones to read during this month. I hope that you found at least one helpful thing in this video. Definitely look out for that prayer challenge. It's going to be starting on the 1st of February and it's going all the way until the 29th. So yeah, with that, this video is concluded and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.